The Clutch Prince does it again. Will Smith's go-ahead home run proves to be the winning runs of the night. The Dodgers sweep the Snakes. They start the season 3-0. Tyler Glasnow looked nasty after a big key adjustment. We are breaking it all down. We're going to hear from Tyler Glasnow. Freddie Freeman got his first hits of the season. We'll hear from Dave Roberts, Tyler Glasnow, Freddie Freeman, and the man himself. The Dodgers sweep in to start the season. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You guys wanted a parade? We got a parade. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Tony starts the 50-50 club. Mookie Magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
You gotta knock him out.
Live from the heart of Los Angeles, this is Dodgers Dugout Live with your host, Doug McKain.
And welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, post-game edition. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Thanks for rocking with us after the Dodgers beat the D-backs, starting the season 3-0 after another clutch bomb by Will Smith. The Dodgers trailing in the 8th inning, down 2-1, needing a big hit after Shohei Ohtani and Kyle Tucker both are retired. It was up to Mookie Betts, who drew a 4-pitch walk to get on for the birthday boy, Will Smith, who comes up big after trailing in the count 0-2, works it back, and then finally gets a pitch to hit, and too many fastballs up in the zone, and you know Will Smith is going to make you pay. The Will Smith that we know and love does it again. The Clutch Prince hits a 2-run bomb to give the Dodgers a 3-2 lead in the 8th.
Smith drills one, left center field. It is gone. Number 16, time and again in clutch time.
And my favorite thing is if you saw the dugout, when he goes in the dugout, if they cut to Max Muncy and he's bobbling his head. And then a bunch of the other Dodgers were bobbling their head because it was Will Smith who had his birthday today. And Smitty on his bobblehead night, who Dave Roberts said after the game wasn't originally going to play. And he talked him into it, and he convinced him, and what happened? It paid off. He was the reason why they won tonight. Happy birthday to Will Smith. Turned 31 today. 31 for Smitty. 31, born 3/28/1995. So big love to Smitty, who it was just a great at-bat. If you look at the sequencing there, he goes up, and it looks like it's going to be stranding Mookie Betts on first base, and they're just going to hope for the 9th inning magic. But it was Will Smith who does what he does, and it's the slow heartbeat. It's the ability to not panic. It's the ability to just grind out at bats, spoil good pitches. There were some really good pitches there, and he spoiled them. He really did. And after Mookie Betts walked on 4 pitches, you had Juan Murillo, who came into as high of a high leverage situation as you can enter, and it looked like he was going to be the hero of the night for the Diamondbacks because you retire Shohei Ohtani and Kyle Tucker, and it looked like he was going to survive and he was going to put the D-backs in a really good position to win the game. But it was a really interesting at bat, like I said, with Mookie Betts with that 4-pitch walk. One of those pitches hits the umpire. There was a delay in the game, and then unfortunately Murillo, too many high fastball's there, and Will Smith, he connected on it, and that goes as the go-ahead 2-run bomb on his birthday. And Will Smith, who loves hitting at Dodger Stadium, 12 of his 17 home runs came at Chavez Ravine, already has 2 home runs at Dodger Stadium this season. Remember, my preseason goal for Smith was to set a new career high in home runs. I want to see a 30 home run season from Will Smith because I know he's certainly capable of it. He's a guy that's hit 25. Last year he hit 17, but I think this is the year where he has a spike in his home run numbers. We know they're going to load manage him to a degree, and that's why Dalton Rushing is on this roster. But hey, he's in the prime of his career, and he wants to make another all-star team, and I just love it because how could you not be romantic about baseball, right? The famous line from Moneyball, and you just look at what this night was to celebrate. It was his bobblehead night that celebrated his game-winning run, his game-winning home run in Game 7 of the World Series. And tonight, it's not like he just hit a home run. It's not like he just had a couple extra base hits. No, he hit a home run late in the game that ended up being the game-winning run. So, Will Smith, what can you say? I remember when he hit his first big home run against the Phillies at home in 2019. I dubbed him the Clutch Prince then, and clearly that nickname has stuck as far as what his reputation is, because we saw in 2020 hitting the big home run, Will Smith versus Will Smith. I mean, this is what this guy does. He lives for those moments, and a lot of guys run from those moments and don't want to be at the plate when the game is on the line. Will Smith is the exact opposite. He wants the bat in his hands, in the box, when the game matters most, when the lights are the brightest. That is when he delivers. So just because he doesn't have this big personality and this kind of stuff where he looks like he's this loud player. No, the loud comes from the contact off his bat when the ball's going over the wall, and it was great to see. So, hey, I still think Will Smith hasn't peaked as a player. I think this ends up being his best individual season. Here was Will Smith from inside the Dodgers clubhouse moments ago.
In the lineup tonight, obviously you don't really ever want to miss a game. What was that conversation like?
He's always been good. We always talk about stuff. He was giving me the day off. I just kind of dropped the bobblehead card. It's my bobblehead tomorrow. And he let me in there.
How special was it to hit the go-ahead home run your bobblehead night and birthday?
Yeah, I mean, regardless of being my bobblehead night or anything, it's cool to put your team ahead. You get a win, you get the sweep. That's more, what I was more excited about.
In particular, that you throw a lot of pitches, kind of waited until you saw the one that you wanted. In a way, it's pretty emblematic of this entire lineup's approach. What do you think goes into that?
A lot of hard work. I kind of haven't felt great for a week or so I put a lot of swings in, today in the cage. A lot of work with the guys, hitting coaches. To kind of reap the benefits a little bit on that, I guess. But just trying to get back to who I am. Control the zone. Spoil good pitches. Drive the pitches you should. That's who we are. That's the Dodgers. That's we preach day in and day out. 1 through 13 guys, whoever's on the roster, and that's how we win ball games.
When you take those couple pitches right before that swing, what's the story tell you about how you sort of see where you have that sort of bat?
Yeah, I think he's good. He throws hard. He's got a good slider. Two fastball kind of guy. I think I was just kind of building confidence throughout the day. Coming in, I was working a lot in the cage. I was kind of lacking it, but I know, in the game you just go compete. And, after a few good takes, it's kind of like, all right, kind of seeing it better, kind of stick to it, seeing the ball a little bit deep, knowing I can still catch up to 100, and, got the barrel on the ball.
What's the mood, the attitude in the dugout in the late innings, knowing you guys have done this so often before?
Yeah, I think there's just, we never feel like we're out of it. We keep taking good at-bats. We keep believing in each other, keep believing someone's going to come up with a big hit. The bullpen always keeps us in it. They're so good down there and, not letting the game get away. It's just kind of a team effort.
Dave called you the most overlooked clutch player in the league. Do you feel like a clutch player? Kind of what goes into like all these kind of late game big moments you had kind of over your whole career?
I don't know. I definitely can stay calm in those big situations. Not try to do too much. Just stick to my approach, what I'm looking for, and kind of let whatever happens, and that's kind of how I go about it.
How do you think the first pitch crew did? tonight?
They were great. I would have loved to been down there with them, but I was warming up Glass. Char was excited. I thought she really crushed the It's Time for Dodger Baseball. she was practicing that. A little late, but she did a great job.
It was a twofer this time.
Well, how much do you just love being in those situations, game on the line situations?
Yeah, I mean it's fun. You dream of those situations. You just I don't know. I just feel prepared. I feel calm, feel under control, and not trying to do too much. And I've had success, so that brings confidence in those situations. Knowing the pitcher's kind of panicking out there, they feel stressed, but they're not as stressed as, or I'm not as stressed as them. So just feel calm and just try to embrace it.
Have you always felt that calm in those moments in your career, or is that something you've had to develop?
It's not every time. But there's definitely a lot of it. I don't know. I think it's just kind of the skill I've developed, and it's not just me. It's talking to guys that have done that in big situations, how they handle it, and I've kind of just developed that.
Cool. Thank you.
I just love how he can stay so even keel and just clicks back into the off the field version of Will Smith. I mean, he's an absolute electric player, and I love the fact that this Dodgers team now is on pace to go 162-0 with 162 comeback wins. And of course, we know that those are unrealistic expectations, but still, look, I mean, we saw last season, this is a team that they started 8-0 and then they had their difficulties. So we know it's not going to be like this, but at least for the opening weekend, when you're getting your rings, when you're celebrating a World Series title, it's great to start the year like this, and great to see some bobblehead night magic, some birthday magic, all rolled into one. And I just love that about baseball sometimes, is the thing that needs to happen does happen, and it's great to see Will Smith. I will say this too, Cal Raleigh, I don't know, I think Will Smith is in a position where by the end of the season, we're talking about Will Smith as the undisputed best catcher in baseball. Cal Raleigh, he's over his first 9, had 7 strikeouts. He's got the bad juju from the incident in the WBC. Give me America's catcher. Give me Will Smith. All right, let's hear from Dave Roberts here. He had to say, had some very high praise about Will Smith after this one. Here was Doc from the press room.
Are you surprised that Will Smith that came through?
Not at all. Actually, I didn't have him in there tonight, and he really wanted to be in there tonight on his bobblehead night, and said he felt good, and so it proved to be the right decision. We talk about a lot of our guys, but man, when you're talking about big hits, clutch, Will's right at the top of the list as well.
First reaction about watching that at bat, especially after he was down 2 strikes?
It was just more of he took some good pitches with 2 strikes down below, and then he got into fight mode, and then you can see him spoiling some good heaters and just trying to fend off potentially that split change or whatever that Murillo throws, and got a fastball that he could, handle and put a really good swing on it. But, there was just obviously with Will, there's just no panic in his at-bats.
What do you think makes him so consistently just reliable in his moments?
I think the heartbeat. I think the heartbeat makes him reliable in those situations. I think his ability to spoil pitches, to put the bat on the ball. He doesn't chase very much, and so he trusts his swing to see the ball a little bit longer with 2 strikes and big moments, and then when he gets a pitch he can handle, then he feels convicted to take a good swing.
Before that home run, we saw Betts take the walk. Yesterday we saw Ohtani just kind of move a guy over. How kind of pleased are you with kind of those little things that some of the guys are doing?
Very pleased, very pleased. And quite honestly, Rodriguez threw the heck out of the baseball tonight. Their pen came in and did a really nice job and kept us at bay. But, when you got a lineup 1 through 9 that puts together at bats, we're always in it. And, to see guys, as you said, Shohei getting a guy over yesterday and today, Mookie taking the walk, getting on base, and then Will just kind of getting into his at-bat. So that's what good teams do. And, we're not always going to, throw out 15 hits a night or hit a bunch of homers, but, we still hang in there, take good at-bats. And, as long as we have outs, they're going to keep fighting.
What are you seeing from Ohtani right now?
Nothing really. I think there are some pitches. He's getting on base. I think that they're obviously pitching him very careful, and there's some pitches that he's swinging at that he's just missing. They were trying to crowd him a lot this series, but I honestly think Shohei's fine. As long as he's taking his walks and he'll slug, he'll get his slug.
The fact that this is a battle-hardened lineup, and they're veterans and they've been through this before, and you had 40-some comeback wins last year. What's the mood in the dugout when you get into the late innings in a game like this?
I think it's just one pitch, one at bat at a time. Just keep. I mean, you're gonna hear this word a lot, is grinding, and just really trying to grind at bats and trying to, wait for these guys to make a mistake and not get yourself out. And that's what we did. That's what Will did in particular. But I think as far as the mood, just kind of hang in there, keep playing good defense. We got a good pitching performance from Tyler tonight. The pen was really good, and then we were in it till the end.
There was Dave Roberts from inside the press room at Dodgers Stadium. And, yeah, he was asked, of course, inevitably about Shohei Ohtani, who's yet to hit his first home run this season. But as Dave said, the slug is going to come. He is still taking his walks. They are trying to pitch him in the inner quadrants of the zone, trying to crowd him a little bit, trying to keep the big part of the bat off of the ball. And, look, he's always going to demand the most attention. So the good thing for Shohei is you don't see a lot of chasing. It's just he's missing some pitches, looked a little in between on some, missed some pitches that you see him typically hit, but he ended up still taking his walks. 2 walks from Shohei, goes 0 for 2. You look inside the box for today, the Dodgers, they go 6 for 29. Another game where the strikeouts have been down. The Dodgers haven't had more than 6 strikeouts in a game this year. He had 4, 5, and 6. So the plate discipline has certainly been there. Shohei goes 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Kyle Tucker 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Mookie Betts 0 for 3 with a big key walk there late in the game to set the stage for Will Smith's big home run. Smitty goes 1 for 4, 2 RBI, gets the big bomb in the 8th inning. Freddie Freeman, he had a monster night for himself, goes 3 for 4, had an RBI. Great to see Freddie Freeman get on the schneid, had a double earlier in the game. Then Teoscar Hernandez goes 0 for 3. Santiago Espinal, who's in at third base, got the start. He goes 0 for 2 with the strikeout. Max Muncy pinch hit for him later in the game. He goes 0 for 1. Pages 0 for 3. And then how about Miguel Rojas? A couple knocks. He goes 2 for 2. Alex Freeland pinch hit for him later in the game, and he goes 0 for 1. But I think first big takeaway from tonight's game is, look, we've seen the first 3 games that this lineup is designed for any player to be able to have the big night to carry them. They don't need to put as much pressure on the MV3 as we've seen years past. And yes, this lineup is essentially the same, really, with Kyle Tucker being added onto it, but it's also a better version of the same lineup, with Andy Pages taking a step in the right direction, a healthier Max Muncy, a more fit, healthy again version of Teoscar Hernandez. And we saw Alex Freeland, he had his big moment. We saw in the second game, we saw Andy Pages had his big moment in the first game. So the bottom of the lineup has the ability to slug, to get big home runs, to be able to have monster moments. And then tonight, Will Smith, look, he's your cleanup hitter, and he has the big moment. So there's no holes in this lineup. The game's too long for the opposing team, as Ned Coletti likes to say, but also the lineup is too long, longer than a CVS receipt. And that's just going to wreak havoc throughout Major League Baseball this season. It was really good to see Freddie Freeman have a big night at the plate. He had been just missing some pitches and hitting some off the end of the bat first couple of games, but Freddie is one of the best hitters on the planet. It was only a matter of time, and he's a guy that you want to have him hit because he's not in a great mood if he's not hitting, right? He's the most miserable 300 hitter in the sport, so it's good to see Freddie Freeman have a big night at the plate. Here was Freddie from inside the Dodgers clubhouse.
Well, Freddie, you know there's been a lot of hard contact and not those results, but today for you to get those results, just kind of how did that feel for you?
Yeah, it was good, obviously. I was just talking to Dylan about it. I mean, there's different outs throughout the course of the year, and obviously there's reason for optimism after the last couple of games. I have been feeling good pretty much all spring training, even the last couple of games, even though I had nothing to show for it. So definitely nice to get off the barrel in the first one and hit a flare up the middle. And, obviously once you get one, you can just kind of like rest easy. And then they played a shift on my third hit, and that was nice because then I was able to stay on the fastball and hit it to left field and on the line. So there's a lot of things that happened for me tonight that was very positive, and obviously Will on his birthday bobblehead night and go right homer. And obviously pitching, key to the series, starters, bullpen, awesome job.
What did it feel like getting tagged out with a hug?
Well, I stopped and I was like, is there any way around this? If I go out of the baseline, I'm out. If I run back, we'll just run a second. So he gave me a little, come here. I said, all right, let's just do it. And didn't think I'd ever be a part of a hug out on a baseball field, but I actually kind of forgot about that. Thanks.
Has it been...
Are you normally a hugger?
I'm very much a hugger. I think you guys all know that. Emotional man over here.
Freddie, in those situations, I'm sure you want, like that Will was in, you're the first choice for yourself, but would Will
I think our whole lineup is a first choice. I've been talking to everyone on our team, I feel like could hit third in the lineup. And, it's just all stars up and down. I think everybody wants that about, and I think that's the key to our lineup. We all want to be in that situation. We all want to be the guy up there. And if you don't get it done, the next guy's going to get it done. So, but yeah, Will seems to be doing it all the time lately. That's awesome.
I mean, that said, Mookie, right, takes his walk, get on base. Yesterday we saw Tani give himself up to
rolling over, getting a guy over. That's the key. That's why we're 3-0. Those are the things that aren't going to go on the box score that people aren't going to talk about. But that's how you win baseball games throughout the course of the season. It's team baseball, and you've seen it the last couple of days.
There was a lot of patience, not a lot of panic in the lineup to start the season. What do you think is the collective approach for you guys that allows for that?
Yeah, I mean, we're really good at controlling the strike zone. Obviously, adding Kyle, he's big at controlling the strike zone, looking over baseballs, just lengthening our lineup. Obviously, we would love to get more hits than we have the last couple of days, but I think with our lineup, no one's going to worry about that. It's going to happen. Baseball's hard. We're going to go through our stretches where we don't get the hits, but that's the key. We got a really good people on the rubber there too that keep us in the game just long enough where we can come out and score some runs at the late in the game. So we got a deep and talented lineup. You can see coming off the bench today, you have Max Muncy, you have Freeman. So you have, and then obviously the guys that started, you have Santiago, who's an all-star a couple of years ago. You have Miguel, who's doing it all right now. So we just got a really good team right now, and good approach. Guys know their strike zones, what they're trying to do at each and every at bat, and it's working so far.
Are you digging the trumpet?
I am. I mean, when Edwin comes in the game, that means something good's happened for the Dodgers. So I'm a fan.
Awesome. Thanks, Freddie.
Yep.
So he said it right there. I think the biggest takeaway from that scrum was he said that anyone in this lineup could bat third. And what, will you see Santiago Espinal bat third or Miguel Rojas bat third? Probably not, but the point remains the same, that the lower lineup, the bottom third, has a lot of guys with a lot of talent, and I think that's the approach. It's the discipline, knowing that, hey, you're not going to hit a line drive every pitch, you're not going to slug at every pitch, but you got to make pitchers work. You got to see your pitches, and eventually they're going to pull through more often than not. And he also gives a lot of credit to the pitchers of the Dodgers, and they did a fantastic job tonight, not pitching with leads in this series early on, not pitching with explosive innings early on. And Tyler Glasnow, I think it was a really productive start for him. I think for him, I give it a solid B+. B+ for Tyler Glasnow, just because I saw what he looked like against the Twins a couple years ago. We know that Tyler Glasnow is a top 10 pitcher when he's absolutely right. So I'll give it a B+. It was a quality outing. It absolutely was. I mean, you could probably make the case, argue it was A-, but I'm a tough grader. And I think for me, the biggest takeaway from his outing tonight was the fact that he was able to make an in-game adjustment. And Clayton Kershaw has talked about this. The great pitchers are the ones that can make in-game edits and be able to adjust on the fly. They don't have to wait for Connor McGinnis and Mark Pryor to break it down on film after the start. And the ones that can do it in between innings are the ones that end up all-stars and end up being pitchers that sign $100+ million contracts. And Tyler Glasnow is certainly one of those pitchers, because you look at his stuff through 6 innings, he gave up just a couple of runs, but allowed just 5 base runners. 2 of them scored. He had 8 strikeouts, had just 1 walk, and I think his start is really just, he's looking healthy, man. He's looking thicker out there on the mound. He's looking like he's just out there convicted and competing. He has no doubts about what he's going to throw. I mean, there were some curveballs tonight from him that were just ridiculous. Just the 12-6 movement on those were just nasty. And I think, too, just kind of going to that 2-seam fastball to not be as predictable. You saw a difference in that from him. And I think that was the key adjustment is going with that and keeping the left-handed batters off balance in this one. But let's hear from Tyler Glasnow from inside that Dodgers clubhouse.
How would you just assess kind of this one tonight?
Yeah, I think just missing out over the plate, away to lefties, just late on everything. And I think once I incorporated that 2-seam, it kind of got me back on track, and I was getting in on lefties, and it just wasn't so predictable.
When you look at just kind of navigating through their lineup, I mean, obviously you had an excellent spring. Were you finding just kind of the stuff for you? I know you mentioned just kind of incorporating the 2-seam, but did you find that kind of you're in a really good spot right now, and just as you continue to progress?
Yeah, I think stuff-wise and execution tonight was probably unlike not as good as I think my last few starts, but I think as the game went on, I got a better feel. I kind of locked back into that consistent feeling I had in spring.
What are those conversations like with Will as going back in after the first and trying to get to that place where you know you can be?
Yeah, I think just the first 3 innings, I think Mark came in and was just saying missing out over and let's try to incorporate that 2-seam. And I think we all just got on that same page, and I was able to play stuff off of it, incorporated the slider too. But yeah, I feel like Mark kind of went in and was more of let's get that 2-seam in. So yeah, thank you, Mark.
Obviously, you're always trying to get outs, but is there an added value that you feel when you do give up a few early runs, knowing if you put some zeros up there, you guys have the kind of offense that can flip a game late like that?
Yeah, I think at all times, no matter what the score is, I think there's a lot of confidence with anything can happen. We've had crazy long innings. Yeah, it never feels good to give up runs early, but I think it kind of can get you in that mindset of locking and just trying to keep the score small, because there is no opponent lead that is safe, I feel.
When you see Will come up in a moment like that, is there ever really any doubt that he's going to make something happen?
No, not really. I just was sitting in here watching, just came up clutch. Birthday and bobblehead day. It's just, what a magical night.
Are you digging the trumpet?
Yeah, it's sick. It's really cool. I've seen it as a visitor, and then now it's here. It hits even deeper. Yeah.
What's your reaction when Kyle Tucker figures out?
There's 2 of them really good. It's just immediately I can kind of take a breath, especially late, putting up a couple zeros, and then I think it would just suck to just give up that homer. So for him to go out and play that defense tonight, it was awesome. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love that dude. Has there ever been a pitcher that was more made to be a Dodger? Just the way he talks with that California vibe. I love that when he got his ring yesterday, he opened the box and he takes the ring out and he shows the Dodgers social media. Yay, sports. Yeah, let's go win another one. So, yeah, as you point out, dialing in this 2-seamer, dialing in that slider, that keeps opposing hitters off balance. I think I also really love to hear him talk about the fact that, yeah, you don't want to have a deficit. You want to pitch with a lead. But also when you're pitching, when you're trailing, it does force you to lock in because, there's not a lot of margin for error. So, Tyler Glasnow, man, I think that he truly 100% earned his Dodger card last year in the postseason, especially in that Game 4 against the Phillies when he was massive, and the Dodgers were 4-0 in games where Tyler Glasnow was on the bump. So that's how great he was in the postseason. Doesn't get a lot of credit just because you got the Snell and the Yamamoto and Ohtani. Tyler Glasnow does not take a back seat. He sits at that table, and you better believe it. But all right, let's hear from you guys. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter show, by the way. This post games are going to be a little on the quicker side, and then the big show is going to be Dodgers Dugout Live, and those are going to be the hour-long ones. So lock in for those Monday through Friday. Got a big surprise coming up with that show, too, by the way. We got Glasnow grown up. Glasnow, I'm so good. I love him. We've got Dodgers in cruise control. Okay, give me your big takeaways. And what was the name for the late-night crew? It was Midnight or Dodger Blue Midnight Crew, I think someone said. the other day. So shout out to the Dodger Blue Midnight Crew. I think we'll stick with that for now. I forgot who said it in the comments. We'll give him credit. John C3PO LaRue, breakout brooms tomorrow on the Milk Snakes. Well, we've already swept them, and there's no game tomorrow. The Dodgers are off. They don't play again until Monday when Roki Sasaki is going to be on the bump for LA. We got, here we go. We've got, a mariachi intro would be epic. I like that. What's the highlight? This is the comment of the show from Yang Yi. What's the Dodgers magic number now? I love it. Fired take. I love it. You got about Toronto. Diamondbacks lose. Should we just do that every time we beat a team this year? D-backs lose. I'm down. Let me know. You guys want to see it? D-Mac, Broom Day. We got, hey, D-Mac, what's up, Krista Helicopter? Shout out to your Arizona Wildcats who made it to the Final Four for the first time since 2001. Jose Aguirre honestly can't believe the trumpet lady is a professional. Thought they just picked some rando from the crowd. Get it together, lady. Hey, that lady is a professional, man. I DM'd her. I'm trying to interview her. I don't know. Apparently Dodgers fans aren't happy with the trumpet playing. I mean, look, man, it's live. It's not going to sound exactly like Timmy Trumpet, so I'm going to support her. 3 Panda in a row from Yang Yi. The Midnight Crew. Yeah, are you guys going to be a part of the Dodger Blue Midnight Crew? Because you know how it gets here. It gets a little looser. Gets a little more chill. We say wild things when it's the late night. We've got Bob Connolly, D-Mac, if you're coming out of the pen to save the game for us, what instrument do you want to be played? That's a really good question. That's a good question. I actually did play the trumpet in middle school. Let's say, what would I say? I would probably have the violins that are played when the Titanic was sinking, because that's probably what would happen if I was out there on the mound. I'd blow the save, and I'd sink the season for my team. Get rid of those gold hats. The Bill's a little dark. What's up, Lola? No Sunday baseball. You guys are already upset. I think she sounds good from Foxy Simmons. I'm over it. Dodgers on pace for 162-0. D-Mac, I love it. Something about me. I'm looking for my Jays playing y'all this year. Okay, we'll play next week. Tatiana sounded great. Yeah, her name's Tatiana. Trumpet Lady did great. There you go. Showing her some support. I love to see it. Yeah, the big takeaways from this team is we talked about the 1 through 9 is so potent. And even though you haven't scored 8+, 9+, 10+ runs every single game, when they're exploding, they're exploding. We've got Oliver Garrett. Thanks to the UCLA Bruins team, volleyball team, softball team, baseball team, basketball team. Thanks to UCLA, you make us the underdogs again. Good night, D-Mac. Good night, guys. We got Hope Otani's elbows doing okay. A.U. Potter, you can't hold B's quiet for so long, so it's time for Frey to hit. 3 for 4 sign soon. Otani, Tucker, and Teo. Hey, Tucker's already hit, and Shohei of the slug is going to be on its way. But another big win for the Dodgers. 3-0 to start this season. Tyler Glasnow. I think the rest of the pitching side too. Alex Vesia, he was doing Alex Vesia stuff, an inning scoreless. Will Klein, he gets the win. Gave up a hit. There was a play where he probably just shouldn't have made a play on it. Mookie Betts would have made the play. It went off his glove, and the runner was safe at first, but efficient nonetheless. 15 pitches, 10 for strikes. And then Edwin Diaz gets his second save in 3 games. So I got Edwin Diaz with 30-plus saves. Is 30-plus saves this season for Edwin Diaz, an efficient on 10 pitches, 6 for strikes. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Dodgers Dugout Live poll question, the Dodgers Dugout Live postgame show. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you haven't yet, do me a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, drop a like. We'll really appreciate it. See you guys on Monday. Got a big surprise coming up next week, and we'll talk about that then. But until next time, remember that nothing brings together quite like Dodger baseball. Until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball.